Good morning, Lincoln, Nebraska. Happy Friday. Welcome into the morning hookup. Bill Hook, off to California. I think he's actually there by now. Sunny California, I should add. Doesn't look that much different from what we got outside today. Elijah Herbal, Caleb, YZ, Wise and Warren, sitting in with you here on a Friday morning as we get geared up. A big West Coast road trip for Husker football. We have a big uh, off to a roaring
That's why
start.
that's why I played the song. I'm running on empty, whatever time doing the morning news. Still awake or
I'm just about to finish up my morning coffee, which whenever it's this measured, my coffee drinking in the morning, it usually means that I have slept all right and I'm doing all right for myself. I mean, there are times whenever I've been known to finish off my entire coffee in the first hour of that morning show, and then like 9 o'clock rolls around,
crap.
and I feel great. I feel great during that show, and then 9 o'clock rolls around, and I go, "Oh boy." Whenever I'm measured like this, usually means that my energy comes from within as opposed from external sources such as coffee. So I've been measured with my coffee drinking here this morning. I'm feeling nice with it. I just might say football whenever I mean basketball. So we had the big West Coast road trip upcoming for Husker basketball. For Husker baseball, a huge weekend down at Auburn, a huge opportunity for not just postseason, but really the kind of that self-belief factor for Husker baseball as they ramp up into the season. We're looking ahead to a home opening series upcoming here shortly, but first a big series against the Auburn Tigers. We have the NFL Combine going down right now in Indianapolis. There's been some storylines coming out of there. We'll look at that and a whole lot more. Whatever you guys want, drop a thought in our comments if you have some suggestions for things to get into, because it's a Friday and this show is the will of the people. So hop in our YouTube feed. That is the Morning Hookup on YouTube. You can also find KFR Radio on Facebook and Twitter to follow along with the show live, the video feed as well, if you want to see me and Caleb's beautiful faces here on a Friday morning. But Caleb, good to see you. How you doing on a Friday morning?
I'm good. I feel refreshed. I had my coffee too, but I wasn't here since 6 a.m. So I'm probably doing a lot better than you are.
I feel pretty good. I was because I watched. We'll get into this here momentarily. I caught Michigan State and Purdue last night. The game goes final, and I was in bed within 10 minutes after that game ending.
Okay, nice.
So when you get that early to bed, early to rise, it almost makes you feel more productive. Like I have had a good day, and it's only 9 a.m. so far.
Yeah, and you're usually running in here by the skin of your teeth on like 9:03.
See, that makes it sound like I'm lazy and I'm waking up really late.
Right,
whenever
right.
it's I'm watching the hours that I work here because I am kind of up against it some weeks. So
Yeah.
you're making me sound lazy. You're making me
No,
sound
no,
bad.
no.
Which
I didn't mean it like that.
are there the occasional mornings after bowling where I'm trying to get that extra 15 minutes of sleep and I'm a little more frantic around the house? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those mornings do occur, but with the consistency that I show whenever I make it in here, I think you should know by now. It's measured.
Yeah.
It's known. It's a known commodity. I know exactly how long my time's going to take to get here. I know exactly how long the morning commute is. I know that there is a 3-minute window, that it does not matter what point during that 3-minute window I leave, because if I leave early, I hit the red lights, and if I leave late, I hit the green lights, and I get here at the same time no matter what. I have meticulously planned out my morning routine to make sure I am here at a consistent time every single morning.
No, I did not mean any disrespect by those words.
Is there anyone else? Am I the crazy person that is like gone and I've timed different routes into work in the morning to find the fastest route, and I know exactly within a 3-minute window of when I need to leave to hit the lights right? Is that like, I'm sure it's probably another level than most people, but I feel like that's a pretty normal experience to know exactly when you make it into work,
Yeah,
or school, or wherever you're doing in the morning.
Especially when I started here with living on the south side.
Oh, yeah.
And then construction. There were times where I would take one route and then I was like, this is taking longer than it usually does. So yeah, you have that mental thing in your head, like exactly how long it takes you to get to not even just work but certain places. And yeah, you got to switch it up sometimes.
Yeah, so it's if I leave at a certain time, I can get here in 7 minutes. If I leave 3 minutes before, it takes me 10 minutes to get here. So it really doesn't matter.
Right.
But then you also have to factor in, I have about a 2-minute stop for morning coffee. I'm consistent with that one. So you add that into the time here. It's just, there is a very set time I need to leave my house by. And if I don't, that's whenever I call up Bill and be like, Caleb's there already, right? Those days are few and far between. Anyway, I was talking. We're prone to bed last night. We had Michigan State and Purdue battling it out on the hardwood. A game with big implications for Nebraska, just big implications for tiebreakers near the top of the Big Ten, as teams kind of jostle for position ahead of the Big Ten tournament. This one was huge because it was a result that favored Nebraska. As it stands, following that one, if Purdue would have won that game last night, which I'm not, did you watch?
I saw little bits and pieces of it.
I do want to get into the late game management from Purdue because I hated their last two possessions with a chance to tie or take the lead.
Yeah, you'll have to talk through that because I didn't see the ending.
I hated it from Purdue. But if Purdue would have won that game, Nebraska would have been at a 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament if the season were to have ended this morning. With a Michigan State win, though, Nebraska jumps up to number 2 in the conference, meaning that if they go 3-0 to close out the season, they will be locked into that 2 seed for the Big Ten tournament. Easier said than done. We'll get into the West Coast road trip here in just a second. But a game as Michigan State goes on the road, gets a win against Purdue, knocks them off. That is big for Nebraska. Michigan State is now your 3 seed as it stands right now in the Big Ten tournament. Illinois is the 4. So let's just take you through the top few seeds. Michigan, number 1. They have all but locked up the number 1 seed in the regular season crown for the Big Ten. Nebraska at number 2, which means that their first game of the Big Ten tournament would be at 5:30 on Friday, March 13th. You have Michigan State in at number 3. They'd be the nightcap on that Friday. And then Illinois comes in at number 4. Purdue is 5, Wisconsin 6, UCLA 7, Iowa number 8. So that's your top 8 in the Big Ten as it stands right now. But a huge game for Nebraska. Michigan State did just enough in the second half. And bringing back to my point here, the final 2 looks from Purdue, because they got themselves the ball with a chance to tie late in this ball game. Their set play was a post up from Kaufman Wren. It was an entry pass into him. They let him go to work in the post. He misses it. Michigan State comes up with the board. They go to the free throw line with just a few seconds left in the game. I think it was like 6 seconds left. They missed the front end of the 1-and-1. Purdue goes down, takes a timeout. Their timeout play out of bounds was essentially a Braden Smith logo 3, which was way off. Never a good look. And Michigan State escapes with the win. Purdue had chances to tie that game. They had chances to take the lead in that game late. They can't capitalize, and the beneficiary is Nebraska.
How do you feel about Nebraska's loss to Purdue? Was that more on Nebraska not showing up, or do you think it was Purdue actually playing well, or maybe a little bit of both?
I think it's Nebraska learning, and we talked about this in the Average Joe Sports Show with Jake Muehlheisen just a couple days ago. I think it's Nebraska learning how to play as the hunted as opposed to the hunter. Whenever you're the hunted, you've got pressure on you, and Nebraska in that game with the pressure early, Purdue everything to play for. You saw the result. Nebraska, for a few minutes in that basketball game, was feeling the pressure. Purdue was letting it fly. Purdue was knocking them down. Nebraska was not. Nebraska got themselves into a hole. And you saw as they kind of turned into the hunter in that basketball game, as you're playing from behind, you saw them come back into their own, make their way back into the basketball game. Ultimately, they lose it late in overtime. But I think it's Nebraska's learning process of realizing every single game under Fred Hoiberg up until the last couple of weeks, Nebraska has been the hunter. Nebraska has been the underdog. Nebraska has been the team that's trying to knock off a big dog and make their way backdoor into the NCAA tournament. At this point in time, everyone in the conference looks at Nebraska as an opportunity now, as opposed to like it's Nebraska. Let's go to Pinnacle Bank. We know that crowd's tough. Let's not get knocked off. Right. Now let's go knock off Nebraska. And that's a completely different feel to have for a team whenever you are the team that people are tuning in for because they're expecting great things out of you. And whenever Purdue is coming to town, looking at Nebraska as an opportunity. Totally different scenario. I think that's what really since the Michigan State victory has been. I think it's been Nebraska learning to play as the team that everyone's gunning for as opposed to being the team that's gunning for everyone else.
I 100% agree. Since that Michigan State game, something has flipped a little bit. You saw Nebraska play a little, that what do you call it? You have everything to play for when you go on the road against Michigan. You're down 2 guys, and you saw that sort of not desperate, but sort of like I don't know what the word is. They played different in that game.
It's a no pressure, let it fly type
Yes.
When not to cop that's I know that's a big catchphrase for Creighton basketball, the let it fly mantra, but that's kind of what it is it's the nothing to lose. We're going to go out there, balls to the wall, let it fly, and see the cards or the chips may fall as they will. Like it's different whenever you are looking at a game as we can't drop this one, as opposed to this is a huge opportunity for us. It's two different mindsets going into a basketball game, and that's a part of the learning process. I think it's a good thing that Nebraska is going through this now, as opposed to whenever you get to the round of 64 in the NCAA tournament and you have a 14 seed who's gunning for you, who is looking at you as an opportunity to put the country on notes. Hey, we're going to be that Cinderella. Nebraska's a team that's never won an NCAA tournament game. The pressure's on them. We're the plucky upstart underdog here who's going to come in and shock the world. That's an easier place to be from a mentality point going in. In Nebraska, they're getting these opportunities now. Whenever you play a Purdue at home, an Illinois at home, whenever you're going on the road to an Iowa team that needs a victory to kind of solidify their place in the NCAA tournament, you got two more opportunities. USC and UCLA. Both teams that are on the bubble. UCLA looks more in now than they did as of 2 weeks ago, which I think benefits Nebraska. But USC is going to be a team that's got nothing to lose, everything to play for whenever they take on this Husker team, because as it stands right now, they're kind of on that last four in or first four out line, depending on where you look at it. And a win against Nebraska could solidify their spot in the field this late in the season. That's going to be a team that is playing with nothing to lose, backs against the wall. That is a huge, to me, I think, opportunity for Nebraska to prove they are learning how to play as the team that is the hunted. And that's what I want to see going into the tournament here, because I need to see some momentum. I need to see some confidence. I need to see a team that, hey, whenever the pressure is on you and you're playing a team with nothing to lose, can you still go out there and execute and play your brand of basketball? Because it's been hit or miss for the Huskers so far whenever they've been going through this learning process.
Yep. They had a little bit of a lull there in the middle of the season, which, again, has some context. You have guys out, you have guys getting sick. But now you're on the back stretch of your hardest part of your season, and now you're going into conference play. And going into conference play, is there a route? Is it route or route? Do you say route or route?
I'd say route. There's a route. Same. It's potato, tomato, tomato.
Okay. Is there a route for Nebraska to go 2-1 and still get the triple bye?
You need some help, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure what the exact parameters of that are, but I think you need to win at least 2 games to keep yourself in the top 4 and get that triple bye. Because
it comes down, I don't know off the top of my head what other teams paths are down the stretch, but as it stands right now, you are 13-4 in conference. Michigan State's 13-4 in conference. Illinois is 13-4 in conference. You have tiebreakers against the 2 of those teams. But a loss would drop you right back down to the Purdue line. And depending on what Purdue does down the stretch, Purdue could jump you into that 4 spot and you could lose your double bye or triple bye. It's technically a triple bye because the bottom 4 teams have their own play-in game, which is that a play-in or is that the first round? I don't know. It's semantics at this point. Yeah. But yeah, 3-0 down the stretch. I think this team knows what an extra day of rest would mean to them, just based on how much of a slog this last part of the season's been, as you talked about. There's been injuries. There's been illness making its way through their team. Getting a few extra days into the Big Ten tournament where, listen, we all know the goal for this season is not go win a Big Ten crown. Would that be cool? Would that show some tangible momentum going into the tournament? Yes. But everything about this season is leading up to either that Thursday or that Friday whenever you're playing the NCAA tournament game looking to get the monkey off your back. And to me, the extra rest that you get with an extra day where, hey, you'd even get an advantageous matchup. As you look at the bracket, Nebraska would be playing the winner of, as it stands right now, UCLA and then likely Ohio State would probably be the 2 teams that would be playing for the right to play Nebraska. Listen, I like Nebraska's chances against both of those teams to get into a Big Ten semifinal. And hey, if you're playing on Saturday, awesome. Whatever happens. It's a good ramp-up opportunity to get into the NCAA tournament. But everything to me is about how do you give yourself the best chance in that round of 64 game to get the monkey off your back, get some momentum going, and make a run into March. So to me, it's less about are you making a run in the Big Ten tournament and more about is the Big Ten tournament setting you up for success a week later whenever you're playing those first-round games.
Yep, 100%.
So we'll see. It was a big result though last night as Michigan State knocks off Purdue. Nebraska with tiebreakers in hand sits at number 2 in the Big Ten conference, and don't know, could that set up potentially a rematch with Michigan in the Big Ten title game on a Sunday? I just talked about the fact that to me the result of that game does not matter, but that'd be fun.
Yeah, I want a rematch with them fully healthy. I 100% do.
So we'll see. If you drop down to a 4, you'd also have a chance as well at getting them in a semifinal, which could be exciting as well. But still plenty to play for Husker basketball. Hooksy on site in Los Angeles. Nebraska takes on USC tomorrow. They take on UCLA on Tuesday. We're going to step aside, take a quick break. And when we return, we'll come back and talk about the next 2 games for Husker basketball and kind of what's on the line, what's at stake, and what we're expecting to see from the team.
Technical difficulties.
We finished off the coffee. We're into the pre-workout energy drink.
Oh, Lord. My heart's going to explode.
Oh, just wait till I take those Excedrin migraine pre-workouts. Listen, we're here for a good time, not a long time. This is going to help me have a good time on the radio today.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
We got the old triple header. I got a phone call coming in here. I guess I'll just talk into the ether here to whoever's listening. I got a fun day today. Morning show, KFOR, got the morning hookup. I got to go work out. I got to stop by the UPS store and return a taillight that I did not need on a repair project for my roommate's car because I backed directly into him. If you listen to the Average Joe Sports Show, you heard that story. So I got to go get that returned because they will not accept it, I believe, once Tuesday rolls around. So going to get that knocked out. Got the Average Joe Sports Show this evening and then probably in bed by 7 p.m., which will be great. So that's my day, if anyone was wondering, if anyone even cares. Good to have everyone in here on the stream. Arlo, we see you. FloodX10, we see you. Anyone else? Maybe not.
Somebody won concert tickets, and I was like,
front desk, 402-489-1234. I think was the number.
I took down their name and number. I'll give it
pass it along to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about.
Yeah. Who do you and Justice have tomorrow?
Lincoln High and Kearney.
Boys or girls?
Boys.
Okay.
We got the basketball doubleheader tomorrow. We're coming back here, but we can get into that. Welcome back into the morning hookup. Rocking and roll with you on a Friday morning. Some Dire Straits. Love it.
This is an all-time classic.
This is one of the premier lake or golf course drinking songs. If you're on the golf course or on the lake to have 8 brews, this is one of the songs that needs to be on the list. This Freeword needs to be on there. You can probably put Sultans of Swing in there as well, but Money for Nothing, like that guitar riff just makes you want to crack. Everyone, maybe not at 9, but that's a Friday.
You're using the golf hole 8. Right on the turn.
It's a premier February golfing weekend.
Not a bad golfing day. This happens every time Hooks leaves.
It does. He's going off. You're going down to San Antonio. We're going to do some golfing. Well, it's crappy here. 70 degrees in Lincoln while Hooksy's away. Now Hooksy goes off to California, and it's beautiful golfing day today. And I have noticed since the snowfall, which was much needed, have you noticed that some of the front lawns and some of the golf courses have started to green up just a touch?
Are they? I haven't seen them.
It's just that lightest touch of green that makes me go, ooh, spring is in the air. And we're probably a couple weeks away. I'm no plant or climate expert here, but probably be within a couple weeks of getting some blooming on the trees, a little bloomage. Is that the word?
I have no clue.
I just know that starts happening once my allergies really start flaring up. That's when I'm like, okay, it's time for me to just take what's the allergy pill? I use the off-brand. What's the name brand?
Is it Benadryl? No,
Benadryl puts you right to sleep.
But isn't it for allergies too?
Yeah, no. Benadryls are big for me in the spring because it allows me to wake up without feeling like somebody has put a pillow over my face and I'm choking to death as I sleep.
Well, this is going to make me upset if I don't find this. Allergy pills.
Name brand allergy pill.
To anyone in corporate, yes, we are hard at work looking at allergy pills. Allegra?
Claritin, man.
Oh, yes, Claritin's nice.
Yeah.
Spring allergies are awful.
Yeah, brutal. And then there's the nasal spray as well that I like, but apparently you can get addicted to that. Like your nose will just start blocking itself up. So I use that sparingly whenever I really need it. Like
probably a good thing.
The nasal spray, the allergy stuff, like your nose will get used to it, and then if you use it too much and you don't have it, your nose will just block itself up, and it'll like require that to clear itself. So watch out with that.
There's 100% going to be a time I come in here during the spring where my eyes are just completely puffy and red, and I'm going to sound super nasally. So yeah, just be prepared for that.
Allergies hit me brutal. They hit me brutal every
really
single
bad.
spring. Yeah. Anyway, be ready for that. But it is beautiful once the trees start blooming and the golf courses start turning green. I think we're right around the corner. Whenever spring is in the air, that means district and state basketball is right around the corner.
Yeah.
We have a big one tonight. The girls A7 district championship. Lincoln Southwest takes on Millard North. We will have tip-off right at 6 o'clock this evening. You can hear Chris Schmidt on the call along with Tim Bob Kitzmiller. So that is tonight. We have a doubleheader coming your way tomorrow here on KFOR as we have the B3 Girls District Basketball Championship. That is at Lincoln at Pius X. Again, Chris Schmidt and Tim Bob Kitzmiller on the call for that one. Pregame set for 12:50 on your Saturday. Tip-off set for 1 o'clock. And then tomorrow afternoon, 5 o'clock, 4:50 pregame. We have Kearney coming to town taking on Lincoln High in boys basketball action, the A3 boys district semifinal. You can hear Justice Rhodey and myself on the call, and I believe Caleb Wisey Weisenborn back in the studio producing. Correct me if I'm wrong there?
Yes, sir.
Just making sure I'm right. So 5 o'clock, you can hear Justice and myself on the call there. A big couple days of basketball, and then an early look ahead spot. We're going to have some district basketball coming your way Monday night as well, as we'll have a district championship to bring you on your Monday evening. Love this time of year with district basketball, state action, Nebraska's version of March Madness right around the corner, Pinnacle Bank Arena and the Bob Devaney Sports Center. And to earn their right, it all comes through district basketball action, where we're going to be carrying it for you all weekend long right here on KFOR. But before we get there, we do need to talk Husker basketball. They have a big weekend and upcoming stretch as well. They begin against USC tomorrow when Bill Hooks will be in attendance wearing his corn hat, apparently. That's what he says, the black hat that just says corn across the front.
Oh, I thought he was wearing one of like the actual corn on the cobs.
They don't make those anymore.
They don't?
No, the company that made them, I think the guy retired. I think the guy who made them retired, and then they passed off the patent, and then the company that bought out the patent on those ended up going out of business. So they're like a collector's item now. I do have one at my house.
People are probably selling them online for an arm and a leg. You can probably find one on eBay or something.
Maybe this is our $1 million business idea. We're gonna get back into the cornhead business. Because there was the one that had like the more form fitting, and then they had one that had like more of a one size fits all that wasn't as comfortable. And you don't see them as much anymore. But those were classics. The cornhead hats.
Yeah.
Maybe is that now? Here's a conspiracy theory for your Friday. Is the lack of cornhead hats on the market the reason for Nebraska football, their struggles in recent years?
People are talking.
Do we need instead of a blackout at Memorial Stadium? Do we need a cornhead out? Will that save Husker football?
Can you imagine?
Just every
90,000 people wearing a corn hat.
Oh man, the state of Nebraska would be getting cooked on social media. All these people wearing the corn
This
hats.
is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
As a side note, imagine how obstructed your view would be if everyone around you was wearing corn heads, because those things are large.
Oh yeah,
They are not like sneaky. They are going to be loud and in your face. And if you're sitting behind somebody with a corn head, good luck seeing the field. But can you imagine 90,000 people wearing a corn head at Memorial Stadium?
no, I can't.
We need to make this happen. I'm gonna talk to some people at the university and see if we can make this happen. What game? You probably go non-conference for this.
You
one?
have to do some horrible game.
And you don't want to go opening game. Nebraska Bowling Green, is Bowling Green the game?
Could be,
because you want to. Oh, it would be kind of fun to go Iowa game.
Oh Lord, no, they would have a time with that if they beat us again.
There's that, but I think the country would have fun with it'd be the Corn Bowl, Nebraska v Iowa. Lots of great corn in both of these states. Obviously, Nebraska the better corn, but both states well known for their corn production. Yeah. What if Nebraska took that opportunity to claim supremacy over the corn market?
This could put us over the hump.
This could be what Nebraska football's been looking for. It's like that scene in Back to the Future. You know that sound you've been looking for? Just 90,000 people wearing corn heads. Anyway, Husker basketball. Huxley goes away and the show goes off the rails. Nebraska basketball in action against USC, and this is a huge one for the Trojans, more so than Nebraska. And we've talked about that at times this season about whenever Nebraska goes up against teams that really needs it. The Iowa game is the one that stands out. It hasn't quite gone well for Nebraska, and that's what we talked about last segment. Nebraska learning to be the hunted as opposed to the hunter. Well, tomorrow is a game at USC where they are going to be the hunted.
Yeah.
USC, as it stands right now, along with Ohio State, from most bracketology people on that first four outline, they are just outside of the tournament. And again, this depends on who you look at. Everyone's got a different opinion. I love the folks at Bracket Matrix because they go kind of through all of the big bracket creators across the country. As it stands right now, USC is in. They do 118 brackets. USC is in on 25 of those brackets, meaning they're out on, quick math here, 118, 25, 97, 93, 93 brackets. Wait.
Yeah.
Is that math good?
Mm-hmm. You got it.
93 brackets. So 93 don't have them in, 25 do, meaning USC needs those wins that are going to hold some weight in the committee's eyes. And they have another opportunity against UCLA. That didn't go well for them just last week, or earlier this week, I should say. But they now have a chance at home against Nebraska. They hit the road to take on Washington and then back home to finish off the season against UCLA. If USC wants to make the tournament, they got to go 3-0.
Yeah.
Because the Washington win, that's more of a can't lose for USC if you want to stay in the tournament. UCLA is one that's a feather in the cap to keep yourself in if you do make it in, but you need to beat Nebraska if you want to make it in. You need to have that kind of quad 1A type victory that Nebraska would bring. So if you're a Husker basketball fan, player, coach, whatever it may be, you got to go into this game expecting you are going to get an all-out effort from USC, knowing if they don't win this game, their season's likely over. You're in the Crown tournament. Hey, the Crown's great. The teams that made runs in the Crown last year are all doing pretty well for themselves this year. There is some momentum building that can come from that, and it also helps up with your NIL program, getting guys some money and being able to distribute funds a little bit differently, so that can still be a valuable experience. But the big dance is what everyone is gunning for, and USC needs a win tomorrow if they want to make their way into the big dance.
Yeah, and they're a weird team. They were missing Elijah Arenas for like half the year. And it showed on the court. They got destroyed when they first started Big Ten play. And then they kind of started to get a little healthier, get things figured out. They had a lot of close losses, close wins, which, you don't want to have moral victories. But, you lose by 5 to Purdue. You beat Wisconsin on the road. You lose to Iowa by 1 on the road. They've been competitive in some of these tough games. And like, they have pieces on the roster, just sometimes they don't really gel that well. They have Chad Baker Mazzara, who, if you remember him from Auburn, was there for however long. He's in his like 7th year of college basketball.
And if I remember, he's had some injury issues this year, but
Mhm.
I think USC is at a 15-3 whenever he starts this year, which, to be fair, a lot of that was early season whenever they're playing warm-up type games, but that's
Sure.
still an impressive number. They're a different team with him on the floor. You just look at this team from USC, and based on talent, you go, that should be a tourney team.
Right. They have so much talent.
I mean, you look at Ezra Asar, Elijah Arenas, Chad Baker-Mazara, like 3 guys that by their powers combined, you think that should be able to lead a team to an NCAA tournament, but the Big Ten is rugged. And they're playing against teams that have been, I mean, Nebraska's a team that is cohesive. And I think that's one of the issues that USC has. Their team is not cohesive and they're up and down.
Yeah.
You're not quite sure what USC you're going to get. But if I had to guess, you're going to have a USC team that is incredibly motivated, given the fact that they were in the tournament and they've kind of fallen out, and you need to get things right. They're on a 4-game losing streak. It was a loss to UCLA last time out. They lost last week against Oregon as well as against Illinois. They fell to Ohio State. Their last win was against Penn State, and that was a tight win. But they did have a win earlier this month against Indiana, which was a good win for them. But since then, it's kind of been falling off a cliff, and it's get right time for USC. You got to expect a valiant effort from the Trojans tomorrow because that's what they need to make it into the tourney.
Yeah, they are, what's the word? Lengthy, athletic. They have a ton of guys who are in that like 6'6" to 6'9" range, and they have like big wingspans, and they can. So they'll be able to. I think they'll be able to guard. They'll be able to battle down low just with their size and their length. They have some offensive inconsistencies. That's sort of what you mean when you talk about their cohesiveness. The ball kind of sticks a little bit. You have ball dominant guys and Elijah Arenas, who, don't get me wrong, he can cook anybody in the country and go get a bucket for himself, but sometimes he is a little he's a little selfish.
He's shooting 33% on the year.
Right. He takes a lot of shots.
And if the guy's on a heater, watch out.
Right.
If this comes down to a final possession tie game, USC has the ball, that's the guy you have circled. He wants that moment, and he's a guy that, despite his struggles shooting the ball this year, he's a guy that I think if you're a Husker basketball fan, you don't want in that moment because he's got the talent to go knock down any shot, but he's kind of embodies that modern era ISO ball of basketball where he wants the ball in his hand, he wants to go to work, and he wants to put up a jumper.
Same with Chad Baker-Mazara. If that kid gets any sort of space, he's letting it fly. He's a little Price Sanford-esque in the way that he does it.
I almost think this USC team is a little Maryland-esque in how they play. I don't think they're as physical as Maryland, but the comparison I see is that they're a talented basketball team that looks more like a collection of talent as opposed to a team. You have guys out there that are impressive, and you talk about the size. You have Elijah Arenas, who's I think 6'6" as a guard. You have Chad Baker-Mazara, 6'7", kind of playing that wing forward spot. You have Asar, who's standing 6'9". Like they have length, they have size, they have guys that from a name appeal and recruiting standpoint had a lot of stars behind their name and had a lot of talent, but as a team, they don't have that cohesiveness that Nebraska does. And I don't think there's anyone in the country that honestly does. So many times this season, like you see the evidence of how connected and together and unselfish the Husker basketball team is. The one play that embodies that from the Maryland win on Wednesday was that steal where Hoiberg kind of knocks it away. Sanford knocks up into the front court. He goes and chases it down, finds Hoiberg beneath the rim. Hoiberg knows, all right, the bigs are collapsing. I could put this one up, which probably 9 out of 10 college basketball players in the country would try to put that one up. Instead, he kicks it out to Jamarcus Lawrence, who has a wide open look from 3. 9.5 out of 10 college basketball players would put that one up, but he makes the pass to the best 3-point shooter in the conference in Price Sanford, and Price Sanford gets a wide open look and he knocks it down. That play embodies what this Husker basketball team is all about. And it embodies the difference between a team like Nebraska and a team like USC. I mean, you're making the hustle play to go save that ball in front of your own bench. You're making the heads up play, Sam Hoiberg underneath the rim to kick it out. Jamarcus Lawrence makes the unselfish pass over to Price Sanford and you knock it down. Like, welcome to Nebraska basketball in 2026. That is the play that embodies it. And that is the type of play that USC would never make. Because if that's Elijah Arenas going and chasing that ball down in the corner, he sees a man underneath the rim. That's a rebounder.
He's making a business decision.
Yeah, Arenas is firing that one up from 3 in the corner. He could knock it down and open 3. He's got that kind of talent, but Nebraska has the heads-up basketball IQ to make a couple of extra passes and get the easiest look possible. That's what the difference is going to be, or that's what the difference needs to be for Nebraska in this basketball game. It's going to be the cohesiveness, the togetherness, and the unselfishness that takes them over what I would argue is probably a more talented team in terms of the type of basketball players that NBA scouts will be drooling over. That's what USC has. What Nebraska has is players that work well together, that embrace their role and are completely unselfish, and the win means more than anything. That's the difference in these two teams, and if Nebraska wins this game, that's what's going to take them over the top.
Yep.
So we'll see. You have a big one, though, for USC more than Nebraska. Nebraska, though, if you want to lock up that number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament, needs a win tomorrow. So Bill Hooks will be on site for that one. And then depending on what happens there, we'll be looking ahead to Nebraska against UCLA, the late night tip in Westwood. Are you looking forward to that one at all?
When does it tip off?
I believe it's 10 p.m. 10 p.m. Central Time.
That's a tough spot to wait there because they're not gonna come home.
No, they're staying out in USC, and then we talked about this yesterday. Hooksy and I did. The team is staying the night in LA. They're going to fly back to Lincoln Wednesday morning, and because you have a flight on Wednesday morning, that cannot be a scheduled off day. That qualifies as a team event. So then they're going to have some sort of walkthrough, shoot around, film session type thing on Wednesday, and it sounds like they're going to go off day Thursday.
Okay,
and then back to work Friday, Saturday before you close out your season against Iowa at home senior day.
Man, that's a tough spot against UCLA. Holy cow.
This West Coast road trip, we knew it was going to be a bear, but the situation that USC finds themselves in, needing a win, makes that one really tough.
Yeah.
And then the UCLA game, it helps that you're going to be out there for a couple days and you'll have a chance to acclimate your body just a little bit. But the late night tip against a solid UCLA team with, Mick Cronin hates his players, but he gets them motivated. He gets them ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
They could use this for seeding purposes to get themselves from they're currently sitting kind of 9 to 10 to get themselves up to more of an 8 seed line. Win against Nebraska would be huge. I don't think it means as much to them as the USC team is going to have on their plate whenever they take on Nebraska.
Right.
But both of these games are going to be a bear, and it does feel from the outside looking in, 2-0 would be great. You'll take 1-1.
Yeah.
If Nebraska goes 1-1 on the West Coast trip, they split, and then they beat Iowa at home on Sunday, you can look back at the final 3 games and say, you know what? That's okay. I think this team absolutely has the capability to go 3-0, but this is a tough 2-game stretch, not based necessarily on the teams you're playing, but the motivation factor for each of these teams and the travel factor. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
So Husker basketball, a big one tomorrow. We'll probably get back into this just a little bit in an hour or two, but we're going to step aside, take a quick break, and when we return, we'll give a quick preview. Husker baseball, they're hitting the road, going to SEC country, down to Alabama. They're taking on the Auburn Tigers this weekend, a 3-game set. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we return. I tell you what, that caffeine's hitting nice.
I can tell. I see your leg bouncing over there.
Your restless leg. To be fair, that's not even a caffeine issue for me. That's been a long time thing.
Yeah.
My dad would always get frustrated growing up because I'd be bouncing the leg, and we had wooden floors, and it would lightly shake things in the house, and it would frustrate him to no end. Love you, Dad.
Oh, we got paid today.
Yes, we did.
Yay. Can all go to bills and rent and student loan payment.
Pay off the credit card. How much time we got on the clock here? About 8 minutes? Not 8 or 9 minutes on the clock?
What did you say?
8 or 9 minutes on the clock.
Yeah. 8:54.
I'm so good at this. God, it's like I've been doing this for most of all of my adult life. And that's sad. What have you been doing with your life? I go get in front of a mic and make little jokes and give my opinions on sports. Changing the world. One joke at a time. Ever look at people out there like doing like big business things and entrepreneurs, and I sit in front of a mic and I go, probably having more fun.
Oh yeah. They're jealous of us.
They are. Welcome back into the morning hookup one final time here in hour one as we preview a big Husker sports weekend. Bill Hook is out in Los Angeles, a business trip for Hooksy. Well, not literally, a business trip for Hooksy. Is out with his boys to watch some Husker basketball. The Spurs in action against USC tomorrow. Makes it back on Sunday, and then Nebraska double dip. They're going to be taking on UCLA on Tuesday. We just got done talking about that. Hooksy, just a couple weeks ago, you went down and checked out some Husker baseball, and Husker baseball team in action. You could argue the biggest weekend series of the year for the Huskers, definitely to date, but you could argue for the entire season whenever you look at potential postseason implications with this series. Is this a make or break series for Nebraska? Absolutely not. Is it a huge opportunity? Yes, it is, as they have the Auburn Tigers ranked number 7 in the country for a 3-game set. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They get things kicked off tonight, 6 o'clock against the Tigers. And Caleb, I think we were talking Monday with Evan Bland about how just different SEC baseball is. I'm really hoping that you get an Auburn team back home against Nebraska in front of a raucous SEC crowd. One of those things that just kind of welcomes you into the season and gets you ready to rock and roll. A raucous crowd in baseball is a little different than basketball or football. Still a tough environment to go into, but I want to see that competitive streak of this baseball team, and I want to see them rise to the challenge against a very, very good SEC team. You know, they have talent with their arms. You know, they have talent in the order, but I think this Husker baseball team kind of wants to send a message to the country. Like, we might be a Big Ten team, but we're still a force to be reckoned with this year.
Yeah. The SEC has ran college baseball for the last 5, even more years than that. They always produce teams like Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, those types of teams. Texas, they're always up there in super regionals or even in the College World Series. I think it's a good measuring stick for Nebraska at this point in the season to Auburn's number 7 in the country. Give you an opportunity to play. You know, you've already played some ranked teams, but now you got a real road environment, not a neutral site, against a top 10 team. So we'll get to see what this Husker baseball team is all about.
Yeah, it's an Auburn team that you see the talent. They're not ungettable. As you look at their start to the season, it was kind of a pedestrian start against Youngstown State. They won 2-1. They won 2-1 yet again on Saturday in extra innings. And then they went and ruled Youngstown State against Youngstown State's, back into the starting rotation. Interestingly enough, and do not use a midweek series as a full measuring stick for a team, especially early in the season. A team like Auburn is going to be going a little deeper into the bench and trying to get some guys some at-bats, getting some guys some innings. They lost 8-0 against Cincinnati at home. But then they followed that up with a huge weekend performance down in Arlington last weekend. They played the same 3 teams as Nebraska, and they went 3-0. They beat Kansas State 5-1. They beat Florida State 8-5, and they beat Louisville 10-6. That's a statement.
Yeah.
To go down to a neutral site. And Florida State's top 10 in the country. Louisville's top 25. K-State's right there as well. To go 3-0 against those 3 teams kind of shows what this team is. They got great arms. They got run support. Just based on what I've seen so far, they're balanced. This Husker baseball team's got a huge opportunity, and I like the pitchers Nebraska's rolling out with this weekend. That's the big thing to me that I circle is if Nebraska gets good starting pitching performances, they can. it's not easy, but they can definitely go beat this Auburn baseball team if they get the type of pitching performances that I think these guys are capable of.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, what's the best path for Nebraska baseball to have successful or to be successful? Are you gonna outslug an Auburn team? I don't know. I don't know how good are their hitters. That's part of what this Nebraska offense wants to be, is putting the ball into the outfield. But I think you need to lean on your pitching rotation and battle with Auburn's pitching rotation.
The number to me all weekend long, all 3 games, it's not going to change based on who the starting pitcher is. The run total, I'm setting at 4.5. If you can keep Auburn below that 4.5 number, not to go betting here, but just setting it between 4 and 5. Mm-hmm. If you can keep them to 4 runs or fewer, I think it's a win no matter what your offense does. And hitting comes and goes. I'd like to think that this Husker team can put up runs. I think they have more power, more pop in the lineup. But if you go lose a game 4-3, I'm not going to be dejected. You gave yourself an opportunity to go win that baseball game. Yeah, you didn't get the runs across, but that's fine. But if you can keep them below 4, and I think Ty Horn can do that. I think Yasa with his stuff, if he's dealing, you saw him go deep last weekend and into a start, and the wheels didn't fall off late, but it was an unfortunate end. He's 1 strike away, I think, from getting Nebraska into the bullpen and getting Nebraska a win. They tied the baseball game up last Saturday, and the cards fell as they did. But Yasa, he's got electric stuff. I mean, a fastball that's running in the high 90s. That's going to be tough for, I don't care if you're SEC, ACC, Big 12, MAC, Patriot League. I don't care. Guys are going to struggle to hit that. So you love that. And then Gavin Blachowicz on Sunday, a guy that we were expecting to see Katsky into the lineup. He got kind of derailed by an illness early in the season, and Gavin's come in and he's been solid as a Sunday guy. One of those like opportunities that was given to him just based on an illness that he has taken full advantage of. You like the 3, but to me, it's just, can those 3 guys make it through 6 or 7 innings? And then as a pitching rotation, can you keep Auburn below 5 runs? If you can do that, you give yourself a great chance to go win the series.
Yeah. And that's all you got to do is give yourself a shot. And
I like, no matter who's on the bump for Auburn, and they have some great arms, they're an SEC team. Mm-hmm. I don't hate Nebraska's chances to go put up a couple runs each game. And if you can go get 4 runs on the board and you're in a dogfight, I consider it a win no matter if it's a win or a loss at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's a measure and stick type series. So, and I talked about the potential postseason implications that this could have. You're not going to be getting wow wins in the Big Ten, especially considering UCLA is not in the schedule this year.
You just don't have the opportunities.
Yeah. These are the type of series that could loom large. Hey, if you go have a good season in the Big Ten, go finish 2nd in the league, 1st in the league, you're playing good baseball at the end of the year, and you have a series victory at a good SEC team such as Auburn under your belt, that's the type of performance that could elevate you from a good 2 seed at a regional into a team that's hosting a regional. Mm-hmm. That's what could be huge about this series. That's where the wins and losses could matter. Again, I'm not super focused on that at this point in time. To me, it's about the measuring stick. What type of baseball team are you? Do you rise to the level of competition? Are you going to go be able to embrace a potentially hostile road environment down at Auburn? Those are the things I'm looking for in a bigger sense. But if the things look good and you can stack a couple of wins, it's the type of series that just come mid-May, the selection committee will look at and say, okay, this is the team that went toe-to-toe with an SEC team, and if you take 2 out of 3 games against them, that could just be the type of series that, despite the fact that it would be months ago at that point, could take you from a team that the selection committee goes, well, they're a Big Ten team. They've been good in the Big Ten, but we'll go put them on the road in a regional and see what happens, into a team that you go, the selection committee goes, we have confidence in that team. They're a top 16 team in the land. We're going to send 3 teams to Lincoln, Nebraska, and have them go play. And that's to me the next step for a Will Bolt program. Can you go host a regional and give yourself that kind of look at a super regional in the driver's seat of a regional, I should say.
So is that your number 2? You want to get 2 wins on the road, or if they only get 1, is that a win as well?
Getting 1's fine. A series victory is always what you're looking for, but it's less about, I mean, if you get swept and you don't look great, you're getting beat by 5-6 runs a game, I have some concerns. To me, it's just more about, are the guys going in there competing, making these games dogfights?
The optics of it.
The type of game where you say, I mean, it's baseball. Mm-hmm. There's got to be a winner and a loser, and sometimes you're going to lose games that you should have won. So to me, it's just about, are you going in there and competing in an SEC team and showing you belong? That's what it is to me. So that'll do it for us here in hour 1 of the morning hookup. We're going to step aside, be back in about 10 minutes with more thoughts, Huskers, NFL Combine, and a whole lot more. I'll come to you in hour 2 of the morning hookup.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Cordell today.
Do you know someone who's made a lasting difference in the lives of seniors? The Seniors Foundation is now accepting nominations for its prestigious Keystone Award, honoring an individual, couple, or group whose dedication has made a meaningful impact on seniors in the Lincoln area. Nominate someone whose time, energy, or resources make life better for older adults. The deadline is February 28th. Nomination forms are at seniorsfoundation.org. The Keystone Award will be presented May 28th at the annual Keystone Award Luncheon. Forms are at
Deciding on a college with your high school senior can be a little overwhelming for parents. But applying for money to pay for it is simple. FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, is now easier than ever with fewer questions and faster fill-out times. If you have a high school senior, now is the time to apply for thousands of dollars for classes, books, and housing. Get started, Nebraska, at dothefafsa.org. Sponsored by Education Quest Foundation. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station at dothefafsa.org.
Hi, I'm Robert Varnado, president of Lee Container. Our company is committed to building a welcoming workplace. Inclusive employment isn't just the right thing to do, it's good for business. More than 8 out of 10 adults with developmental differences do not have a paid job, and only 36% of the public believes that they are capable of being leaders. Now is the time to change that. We can work together to provide more opportunities for the 6.5 million people in the U.S. that have autism, intellectual, or developmental differences. Join Lee Container in taking the Delivering Jobs pledge today. We're supporting Autism Speaks, Best Buddies, and Special Olympics in their commitment to create pathways to 1 million employment and leadership opportunities for this talented community by 2025. Together we can build the workforce of the future. Visit deliveringjobs.org to learn more. Together we can build the workforce of the future.
Hello, I'm Jose Hernandez, and I have been using a wheelchair since my accident in 1995.
My name is Andrea Delzal, and I've been using a wheelchair since I was 5 years old.
I guess if I had one message for the general public, it would be that I appreciate your help. But please, ask first.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that I've actually got everything under control.
I think people get nervous. They don't know how to act, so they pretend I'm not there.
What probably bothers me the most is when waiters talk to my companion and not directly to me.
I think everyone with a disability can relate to that parking spot problem.
We know you're just parking in that disabled spot for a second, but please, don't. We're just looking for the same respect and consideration as everyone else.
The United Spinal Association is dedicated to enhancing the quality of life of people living with spinal cord injuries and disorders. Download our disability etiquette booklet at unitedspinal.org.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3. Lincoln. FM 101.5, 1240 AM.
From the ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Heading into questioning right now in Chappaqua, New York, members of the House Oversight Committee and former President Bill Clinton, who is slated to tell what he knows about now deceased sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Committee Chairman, Republican James Comer.
We're going to continue to ask questions of everyone that shows up in photos on the island and things like that.
When she was questioned yesterday, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said she didn't know Jeffrey Epstein and asked why President Trump isn't being questioned, as he also appears throughout the Epstein files. For the second time in the last couple of weeks, there's been an apparent mishap with a laser weapon near the southern border. Military laser used to shoot down a drone being flown by Customs and Border Protection. ABC's Martha Raddatz says some members of Congress are not happy.
In a joint statement, Representative Rick Larson, Benny Thompson, and Andre Carson saying our heads are exploding over the news. They claim the Trump administration has sidestepped a bill that would have trained drone operators and improved communication between government agencies, including the FAA and Homeland Security.
Earlier this month, a laser was used to shoot down what Border Patrol thought was a drone, but turned out to be a balloon. AI company Anthropic under pressure from the Defense Department, which wants to use the technology without restrictions. Here's ABC's Selena Wang.
Anthropic says they've got some clear red lines. That includes using AI on the battlefield where it is AI and not humans that make the final targeting decision, and they're against using AI for mass domestic surveillance. Now, the Pentagon, for its part, says they've got no desire to use AI for either of those use cases, but argues that the restrictions that Anthropic wants could jeopardize their military operations in critical moments.
Scouting America will alter several of its policies at the urging of the Pentagon, including one banning transgender youth. You're listening to ABC News. Several of its policies at the urging.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax relief advocates think different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-551-7670. Your car. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an
Repairs are underway on a fire-damaged railroad bridge. Good morning. I'm Jeff Modes. 49 degrees at KFOR. Crews from Union Pacific Railroad have been at work.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back into the Morning Hookup. Into hour 2, we roll. Elijah Herbal and YZ sitting in with you on a Friday morning as Hooksy. He's off in Los Angeles, gearing up for Nebraska and USC. Have you been to beautiful LA? I have not. It was one of those places I was expecting to go in and not enjoy. And I got there and I went, I get it. Really. The cost of living, well, here's the thing. The two things that I thought were a little bit overplayed were traffic and the cost of living. Now, one thing that I did not have to deal with was renting and buying a house or whatnot, which you look at all the prices around there and it's the most like tiny little crappy house and it's $1.4 million. You go, oh my goodness. But like in terms of buying food and just other day-to-day expenses, grocery stores, I was like, this does not feel any different from any other things. Secondary thing I'll add, rush hour, stuck in traffic. It wasn't that bad otherwise. Like, yeah, the freeways and interstates were just bogged down between 7 a.m. and 9:30 in the morning, and then 3 to 6 was pretty brutal. But other than that, I thought it was just like an average big city. The rush hour traffic was exceptionally bad for a big city, but like the non-peak times of traffic, I was like, this just feels like the traffic of a big city. Right. Maybe tuned up just a little bit, but it's nothing like it wasn't like I was sitting in bumper to bumper traffic. So that wasn't too bad. But I did recommend Hooks. Best Thai food ever had in my life, Los Angeles. The two things to get out there, the street tacos at any given roadside stand, incredible. And then the Thai food, awesome. In-N-Out burgers are good, fries suck.
Well, there's a whole bunch of good food out there.
Oh,
I need to try. I want to go on the coast somewhere and try seafood. And you're not a seafood guy, right?
I can do fresh seafood. Okay. I can't do Nebraska seafood.
Yeah, there is a difference.
If the seafood has been caught within the past 24 hours and I'm eating it, I can deal with it. Mm-hmm. If it was shipped to me and it was caught 72 hours ago and now it's so it gets all fishy and gross, it's been frozen and yuck. If it's like fresh, yeah, I can get down with it, especially if it's been deep fried.
You want to know something crazy? You talk about Thai food. Never had Thai food.
There's, I won't mention the name. There's one Thai spot in Lincoln that I do quite enjoy. I've tried a couple different. It's from the last trip out there. We hit a couple different Thai restaurants out in California, and Thai food's incredible. I need to try it more. And then I was trying some of the Thai food around Lincoln. I'm like, it's not the same. There's one spot in North Lincoln that I went to, and I went. That's the ticket. I might have to grab some Thai food on my way home from work tonight. Actually, it's good stuff. The drunken noodles. That's what you got to get. There's no alcohol involved. It's a simple recipe, and it gets the name drunken noodles because it's a common they serve it in like little street spots in Thailand. Mm-hmm. And the story goes, it was some guy. He gets home from a drunken night at the bars, and he wakes up his wife, and he's like, "I'm hungry. I need some food." And she's all PO'd at him because he came home late and he's drunk and she doesn't want to get up and make him any food. So she made him the spiciest noodles that she possibly could to try to like stick it to him, and then he really enjoyed it. That's the urban legend of how it goes. But it's essentially called drunken noodles because it's like household ingredients in Thailand that you can either make on a street corner or you can go home and make it for yourself. So it's the classic drunk food item in Thailand. Anyway, love drunken noodles.
There's probably a lot of stereotypes and whatever you want to call it, like in those big cities that we talk about in the Midwest that, oh, there's so much traffic there. Oh, there's this and that. And it's like really just completely normal. And they do the same thing to us. Like, oh, they drive to work in tractors and they have cows and stuff. So I don't know. It goes both ways.
Going out and just seeing how other people live makes you realize that we're not all that different after all. Whether you're from the Midwest or from Thailand or Los Angeles or wherever you may be from. We're all just humans at heart. Mm-hmm. But would I ever live in Los Angeles? Unless I was making like high level six figures, probably not. But I enjoyed my trips out there, and it made me go, I'd come back to Los Angeles.
But that's like who it's for, is the people that are making that kind of money. It's like to live out there. Like
the people that are making your average salary income are not living their best life in it.
Right.
90% of their income's going towards rents. Not a great way to be living. But I did like Los Angeles. We'll get the report back from Hooksy on Monday whenever he makes his way back in on his thoughts on the City of Angels. I want to go see a Dodger game out there. Yeah, I heard that's one of the baseball spots. My Rolodex of MLB stadiums is low. I have not seen. I mean, MLB games are just not as cost effective as they were 15 years ago. Unless you're going to a Rockies game.
I've been to Kauffman. I've been to Wrigley. I've been to Target Field in Minnesota. Get to go to Fenway in April. Get to see Red Sox Yankees at Fenway. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all I've seen.
Coors in Denver.
Oh, did I go to Coors? No, I haven't been to Coors yet.
Driven past it?
Yeah.
Great spot because it is just because of how bad the Rockies are. This is not like they're what they want to do. They have to do it. It is one of the few cost-effective venues in baseball anymore, where parking's $10 and you can get a ticket to the game for $20, and you're gonna spend $20 on a beer once you're inside. Unless you go, they have $3 beers before or during batting practice, which is incredible. It's a cost-effective spot to go catch a baseball game. There's just not many of those in professional baseball anymore. Like, I mean, Dodger tickets just to get in, you're spending $100+, right? You're spending $25 on a Dodger dog. They got to pay Shohei's contract somehow, I guess.
But this can kind of transition into our next topic. But speaking of stadiums and how those are kind of evolving in the NFL, how much more expensive do you think that's going to be with all these new? Like, we're transitioning into having it be able to be a dome and also be outside so that they can have like concerts and stuff when it's not super cold outside. Do you think that ramps up like ticket revenue at all?
The vision, no, but yes. Games, I mean, every single stadium, I think before too long, except maybe Lambeau, is going to have personal seat licenses. That's been a thing for about 10 to 15 years now, where not only do you have to buy your season tickets, you also have to buy the rights to buy your season tickets from whatever seat you have. So you buy this personal seat license, which then gives you the rights to buy your season tickets. And now that you have the personal seat license, you can do what you will with the tickets. So you can go and sell your season tickets if you want, yada, yada, yada. That is how they're making, which is similar to like a donation from Memorial Stadium. You buy your season tickets, you have to give a donation, and based on what donation level you give, it determines what season tickets you get to buy. It's the same system to professional football, and a lot of these teams in purchasing new stadiums and building new stadiums are giving themselves the ability to go add personal seat licenses to seats. But the big like trend in NFL right now is the mixed use development. These stadiums are being built on land where the team also owns the other buildings that are going to be on site. The bars and restaurants that are on site, they own, and they're taking a cut of the rent. They're putting up apartments on their land next to the stadium, which are going for exorbitant rates. And not to mention that, there's also a Whole Foods in the basement of your apartment complex, and Whole Foods is paying rent to the stadium. And then by going indoor and outdoor, you can have concerts in the wintertime, concerts in the spring, and concerts in the summertime. The trend is less charging an arm and a leg for tickets, which NFL tickets already cost an arm and a leg. That's not going down. Yeah. It's about being able to take a 5-month profit maker and make it a 12-month profit maker, where you're taking money because people are buying apartments on your land, and people have bars and restaurants and other things on your land, and you're going to be taking rent prices on top of that, not to mention the concerts you're bringing. It's just the whole vision is we're going to turn this stadium and the land around it into a 12-month moneymaker, as opposed to just, hey, 9 Sundays a year, we're going to be making money off of it. Now it's going to be 365 days we're going to make money.
Everything revolves around money.
Yes, it does. Maybe we can get into, there was some financial reports released from college football. This comes from Scott Docterman in The Athletic, where he went public records request for all the public universities in the Big Ten to determine how their athletic departments are doing financially. Nebraska is doing well for itself. Maybe we'll get back into that. But while we're talking some college football here, I do want to get into this. Our good friend JP down at Kicks sent this to Bill and myself this morning. The NCAA Football Rules Committee has proposed some rule changes for the 2026 college season. Targeting, uniform rules, some penalties. The most interesting and I think the most important would be a change to the targeting rule. It's not the change that we all want to see, but it would help. Basically, targeting offenders, if it's your first time in a season and it happens in the second half, you would no longer be suspended for the first half of the next game. That is the most major change. So for your first-time offender, let's say Vincent Shavers next year over the middle of the field in the second half of the Indiana game, commits targeting, gets ejected from the game, he would not then miss the next week against Oregon in the first half. He'd be allowed to play right away. Now, if that targeting was his second offense, he would still be suspended for the first half of the next game. And then a third offense would be you're suspended for the entirety of the next game, regardless of what half it happens in. So that's the proposed change to the targeting rule. Coaches and players have been pushing for the two-tiered targeting, where you have one that's ejection worthy and one that is not ejection worthy. The NCAA has pushed back on that for going on 7-8 years now. That's how long coaches and players have been pushing for that. That is not the change they're making, but they are going to make a second half targeting penalty potentially less damaging by taking away the suspension for the first half of the next game. And I think this really comes from, I think it was Xavier Lucas from Miami, who got a targeting call in the second half of the college football playoff semifinal game, and then missed the first half against Indiana because of that targeting call.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of the come to Jesus moment for the NCAA of, all right, this is
something,
right.
something has to be done.
Something is, I'd love to see the two-tiered targeting penalty come to college football. There are some, who was the Ole Miss guy against Miami that didn't get a targeting call. Whereas then Xavier Lucas got the targeting call, and they looked to me to be somewhat similar plays.
Yeah.
Both plays that I think should have been 15-yard penalties, but not ejections. I'd love to see that rule come to college football. Let's have somewhere you go, you know what, based on where you started your strike point, you were going for the chest. The receiver then kind of lowers down as he's going to the ground, and you hit him in the head. You clearly didn't mean to do it. It's still a dangerous play. We're going to give them a 15-yard penalty, but you get to remain in the football game. Give me that in college football.
Because I think you get balance with that.
Yeah.
Like you protect the players, and then also at the same time, like, you know what I mean? Like there's a yin and yang, and
you're still hurting your team, but you're not going to hurt your team by being out for the game in something that you clearly did not mean to do.
Yeah.
Should you still be penalized? It's like in baseball. And I just say this as a baseball umpire. You see those throws down to third base with a right-hander in the batter's box, and he clearly doesn't mean to get in the way, but he affects the throw, and the kid slides safely into third, and we got to send him back to second and call the guy out in the batter's box. The intent does not matter. At the end of the day, you affected the play, therefore there needs to be a penalty. I think the same should be said for some of the targeting calls in college football. You clearly did not mean to target the head or neck area here, but there still needs to be there still needs to be a penalty in place because you did make contact. So we're going to give you a 15-yard penalty, but you get to remain in the football game.
Yeah.
That's what I think needs to change, but for whatever reason, the NCAA has pushed back on that.
I think we could do a whole show on football rules that need to change. I think there's a lot of things that need to change, like illegal contact being a automatic first down. I can't stand that.
Illegal contact being automatic first down. I also am on the line with defensive holding being automatic first down.
Yeah,
because it's a 10-yard penalty already. Like if it's 3rd and 15 and there's a defensive holding call, should that be an automatic first down, or should you just get a 3rd and 5?
Right.
Because at 3rd and 5, you still get a great chance of picking up the first down.
Actually, absolutely.
And illegal contact's a 5-yard freaking penalty.
And every time
I hate like a 3rd and 20 illegal contact automatic first down.
And every time you see illegal contact, they show the replay and you're like, that's a penalty? Like, what did the guy do?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of rules that need to be changed. I do like that the NCAA is doing something about targeting, but I think they could progress and develop this more into something, a better system.
The side note to that is you don't want to give defensive players, you don't want the coaching point to be, hey, on the 3rd and long, if you get beat on a route, just grab a dude, and before the ball's out, it's just a 5-yard penalty. We get to live to fight another down. That's the side note to that of you don't want to have defensive penalties become that rampant just so because teams know, hey, on a 3rd and 15, they're not going to pick up the first down as long as the pass isn't in the air.
Yeah.
So how do you have a system that doesn't game that? That's what I don't know, but I'm with you. I hate the automatic first down, especially on the 5-yard defensive penalties. But we do have another proposal regarding rules in college football. They want to lower the penalty yardage for offensive pass interference from 15 yards down to 10, which would match the NFL.
Really?
The NFL is a 10-yard offensive pass interference. Offensive pass interference is a 10-yard penalty. The difference is in the NFL, defensive pass interference is a spot foul in automatic first down.
Yeah.
Whereas in college football, it's a 15-yard penalty.
Why was I never aware that offensive pass interference is only 10 yards in the NFL? I thought they were consistent.
You would think they would be, but
Yeah.
in college football, it's been a 15-yard penalty. In the NFL, it's been a 10-yard penalty. I'm with that.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I'm cool with that. I wouldn't hate seeing pass interference become a spot foul in college football either. Defensive pass interference.
Yes and no, because that's just the nature of football. Is sometimes like you have like a 3rd and 15, for example, and sometimes teams just throw it up hoping for a defensive pass interference call, and they get it, and then you get the spot foul. So I mean, it's so hard to balance all of those things, but I would like them to be more consistent from college to the NFL.
Agreed. You know what I actually would not hate? Why doesn't college football have a 2 feet down rule for catches as well?
Right. Why have the difference?
Because in college football, this has been a sticky point to me. It's the same rules of completing the process of a catch, which is 2 feet in a football move. Why does that change on the sideline where you can just get 1 foot down?
Yeah.
These players, this is the highest level that we've had of college football ever in terms of the players on the field. I think you should just get these guys ready and have them go 2 feet down on the sideline as well, because it's if you're going over the middle of the field, 1 foot in a football move doesn't count in terms of possession. So why does it count along the sideline?
The way that the sport is evolving with all the behind the scenes stuff with the NIL and having general managers and players getting paid and stuff, it basically is becoming the NFL already. Why not just have the rules on the field be the same too? It's makes no sense to me, but that's why we're here and they're the NCAA.
There's one more super minor rule change that would also match the NFL that would allow for a fair catch kick in the NFL. We're on the final play of a half or a game. The team could attempt a field goal after a fair catch.
I've heard about this.
Similar to how the NFL does it, which happens, it feels like once every 5 years you get that opportunity, and it turns out being cool. It hurt the Broncos once, but that would be in line. The NFL and high school both have that same rule. College football does not. That's another minor rule change. Another minor rule change would be regarding fake punts. On punts where linemen don't wear jersey numbers between 50 and 79, the long snapper and 2 adjacent linemen would become ineligible receivers, which currently, if they're not wearing numbers between 50 and 79, they are eligible despite the fact that they're absolutely covered on the line of scrimmage. There was a fake punt last year. I can't remember who pulled it off. That kind of took advantage of that loophole in the rule where they put a non-lineman in the middle of the line of scrimmage and they were an eligible receiver. Caused a lot of issues, so they're looking to close that loophole. Finally, in completely minor but weird news, the Rules Committee, this is the final one before we take a break, has proposed that players must wear leg coverings from the top of their shoes to the bottom of their pants, matching NFL rules, so there'd be no skin showing between the knees and the ankles. Totally minor. It's one of those ones that does make you go, why do you need this? Aside from consistency with looks of players. Violators would have to leave the game for at least 1 down and correct the issue. A second offense would be a 5-yard penalty. A third offense would be a 15-yard penalty. Another one, they've had this rule with knee pads in college football for a few years now, and I haven't seen anyone enforce that.
No.
This seems to me to be one of those silly rules that you put into place that is anyone really going to be enforcing? The fact that a guy is not wearing tights between their knees and their ankles, who cares?
You know what they also need to enforce that I can't stand? Why do you have the mouthpiece if it doesn't go in your mouth? Why is it dangling from your helmet?
What's with all the Cosmo and Wanda mouth guards where they have the one that is not attached to their helmet in their mouth, but then they also have the 2 that are attached to their helmet that are pink and blue?
Yeah.
Have you seen that trend?
I don't get it.
Or pink and green or whatever it is.
There was one player last year who he would wear the color of his team and then the color of the other team. He would have 2 mouthpieces in his helmet, but neither of them would go in his mouth. They would just be there for show.
Don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
Brian Branch in the NFL putting the mouthpiece in his helmet. Don't get it. Dumb.
Swag. But it is. It's swag. So a lot of, aside from the targeting, a lot of minor rule changes that are being proposed. Again, these have not been officially confirmed by the NCAA. There will be feedback over the next month or so, and the oversight committee will either approve or deny them later in March. All these feel to me like rule changes that will probably go through. The one I really don't understand is the leg covering one. Why do guys need that? Who cares?
Yeah.
Why does it matter? Maybe it's just to keep blood off of the field. I don't know. That's a silly one. But those are the potential rule changes coming to college football in 2026. We're going to step aside, and when we return, we'll talk some NFL Combine as the Underwear Olympics have been going down in Indianapolis. Any implications for NFL teams? We'll talk about that when we return.
The underwear Olympics, huh?
That's my favorite term for the NFL Combine.
Does that make us sound old when we start hating on what kids are wearing?
Yes, it does. But I don't understand I wanted the minimum number of mouth guards attached to my helmet, actually. Why do you want that thing flopping around? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Whenever I had the opportunity, you get up to high school football, because at midget football, you had to have the mouthpiece attached to your helmet.
Yeah.
And then you got to high school football, and as long as you had a mouth guard in, you were fine. I took that mouthpiece off my helmet as quickly as possible. It's so freaking annoying to have the mouth guard flopping around all the time.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Just toss that thing in your mouth and deal with it.
Oh, it gives me flashbacks of being a little kid and having to mold the mouthpiece. My mom's like, here, put this boiling hot thing in your mouth real quick.
I found that I enjoyed my mouthpiece a lot more because they always want you to bite down hard and suck and get it real. I did best with those things whenever I just lightly formed into my mouth. Like I wouldn't leave it. I'd cut half the time in the boiling water and then I just lightly bite down on it. And the comfort was so much better than whenever it was so form fit to your teeth.
Yeah.
I think I still have an old mouthpiece somewhere at my dad's house, actually. Probably still fits. Gotta find. I was looking through mock drafts last night, and there was one good one, and it.
Let's see, who would be up there? Ruben Bain? That's a name that comes to mind.
Here we go. Everyone has the Chiefs taking Jeremiah Love in the mock, which A, somewhat makes sense, but B, I don't think I see the Chiefs doing it.
No,
they got burned so hard on Clyde Edwards-Helaire that I think they're not going to reach on a running back. And I think Love at 9 would be. He's a top 20 guy. I'm not sure he's a top 10 guy. Love at 9 would be a reach to me. But we'll see. I got a couple mock drafts pulled up. We can discuss some of the top performers. Welcome back into the morning hookup. Rolling through hour 2 here on a Friday. We've talked some Husker basketball. We've talked some Husker baseball. We have talked potential NCAA rule changes. Let's dive in to a big event for some this weekend. This is now a made-for-television event, which is fun. I enjoy watching the NFL Combine. Now, I guess I'll put it this way. Don't make all of your assumptions and predictions and evaluations from a player off of combine performances. Don't pull a L Davis. Like L Davis was like an owner that was just like just did it 40 times in the combine. Like, that guy. There's a lot more that goes into an evaluation. This is an event that is made for television ratings. Keep that in mind whenever you look at things. But there have been some what should I wacky freak type performances that I think we should highlight. One of the top risers in this year's draft, based on what he's done at the combine and what I think he's probably going to do at his pro day and what his film looked like last year, Sonny Styles from Ohio State.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've seen any of his results. He's a guy that, Arvell Reese was the name on the front seven for Ohio State. Arvell Reese and then Caleb Downs were the two guys he circled for Ohio State. Sonny Styles, this guy's a freak. He has ranked, this is according to what is the RAS, relative athletic score, which gets thrown around a good amount. It kind of compares you based on your metrics, your size, and whatnot to all the other players who ever performed at a combine or a pro day or whatever you may say. Sonny Styles has ranked first out of the 3,215 linebackers they've ever put into the relative athletic score. First. He is 6'5". That is the same height as Calvin Johnson. He is 244 pounds. That is the same weight as Derrick Henry. He jumped 43.5 inches on his vertical jump. That is the same as Nate Robinson, who was 5'10" dunking in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
He ran a 4.46 That is the same as Bijan Robinson. And he his broad jump was over 11 feet, 135 inches. That's the same as Julio Jones. He is playing a linebacker, off-ball linebacker for Ohio State. And he did some edge rushing as well. But that athletic profile is just freaking bonkers.
Yeah, that's off the charts. People aren't supposed to move like that at 6'5", 244. 40-yard dash, you're 4.4. Yeah, that's unheard of.
245 pounds in his 10-yard split, 156. That is zooming. On a scale of 1 to 10, he ranked as a perfect 10. According to the relative athletic score. He also comes from athletic lineage. His dad played in the NFL. What is wild to me, and I just compared him to people. Do you remember one of the most impressive freak combine performances I can remember in recent years was DK Metcalf? You remember?
Yeah.
The only thing that Sonny Styles was worse than DK Metcalf in was the 40-yard dash. DK 6'3", Sonny Styles 6'5", 245 pounds for Sonny Styles. DK Metcalf 228. Sonny Styles outleaped him on the vertical jump by 3 inches, matched him in the broad jump, just about matched him in the 3-cone drill. He didn't do a bench press. We're not sure about that. Faster 10-yard split, unreal.
Yeah.
So that is going to be a riser on the draft boards. We are still pretty early in the combine process. It's going to be going all weekend long. We had the linebackers, edges, and defensive tackles working out yesterday. We're awaiting some Huskers, Deshaun Singleton, Sear Wright, Emmett Johnson, the 3 guys we have circled for the NFL Combine from the Nebraska angle. So looking forward to what they're going to be doing. None of those guys have worked out on the field just yet. We'll probably have some updates after the weekend based on how they run. The number one thing you're looking for from any of the Husker this weekend, what is that Emmett Johnson 40-yard dash time?
Yeah.
There's a lot of positions where the 40-yard dash does not matter. There's some where it's just all right, as long as they're somewhat average, we're fine. Defensive tackle, if you're running a somewhat average 40-yard dash time, as long as you're not stupid slow, you're going to be fine. Wide receiver, corner, running back are the 3 positions where the 40-yard dash time matters. Tight end a little bit. Offensive line, throw it out. You don't care.
No, doesn't matter.
10-yard split on the offense line maybe matters. The funniest thing I heard is with a lineman, the vertical jump and the broad jump don't matter. It's more about how deeply into the sand pit that they go as opposed to how far they go.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of the power that you'd like to see, but more of that shows up on film than what is going to be in the broad jump or the vertical jump. The NFL offense lineman, a 3-cone drill, what type of agility do they have? That matters whenever you're pulling, whenever you're getting up to linebacker. The 10-yard split matters because, hey, how quickly can you get up to linebacker? They want to see the bench press numbers, but a lot of the things don't really matter. But with a running back like Emmett Johnson, he showed the vision. He showed that ability to make you miss in a phone book. His jump cuts were incredible. The one thing he kind of lacked in his Husker career was that true breakaway speed once he got into the open field. How many times do you see Emmett Johnson get caught from behind when it looks like he was home free? The one that stands out is the Iowa game where he was a yard away from making it into the end zone early in that one. We don't need to talk about the rest of the Iowa game, but that kind of evidence or that kind of shows what NFL teams are looking for with Emmett Johnson. Can he be a guy that at the next level can show some sort of breakaway speed? I think anything sub 4.5 for Emmett Johnson would be a stupendous number. That's what you're looking for him. So we have that one circled, but I do want to quickly take you through the most recent NFL mock draft, and the one that I like the most comes from Fox Sports' Henry McKenna. There's been a lot of bad mock drafts out there. If you haven't already, you can feel free to go look up Mel Kiper. I think his mock draft sucks right now, personally. There's only one pick that we know for sure. That is Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Which, good luck, Fernando. I'll say that. Good luck.
Throwing him into the fire.
what the Raiders need before, I mean, everyone needs a quarterback. That's the NFL for you. But what the Raiders need more than a quarterback right now is an offensive line. You have Ashton Genty. I think he's still special. He was playing behind a bottom 2 offensive line in football last year. Good luck. And if you want to have a quarterback to have some sort of success, give him an offensive line. Give him an offensive line. Give him a running game. If you can do those 2 things, Fernando Mendoza with an offensive line and Ashton Genty should be able to at least have the Raiders winning a few games next year. And then you can start building the defense and some skill position guys. But those are 2 things they need to lock up. I don't blame them. Fernando Mendoza is the pick. It's the obvious pick. It's the one you got to make if you're the Raiders. But there's a lot more issues that they have than the quarterback position. Going a little bit further down here, again, this is Fox Sports' mock draft. They have Ruben Bain going to Miami. He has been somewhat of a combine faller with some of his measurables. Short arms is one thing that guys are really concerned about. The fact that you get up against those NFL offensive tackles that have huge wingspans that can get into you as an edge rusher first, and there might be some concerns there. This mock draft still has Ruben Bain going number 2 to the Jets. Ruben Bain's one of those guys that I think you can look at his film, and no matter what the combine testing scores say, you can say that's a freaking football player.
Yeah, he's just a dude.
He's just a dude. Could it maybe limit his ceiling a little bit? Sure. I still see Ruben Bain as a Pro Bowler in the NFL. He's going to get his. I don't have doubts about his ability. Will that make him drop from 2 down to lower in the top 10? We shall see. I think the pro day results will be big for him as well, but he did not have a standout day 1 or on-field day at the NFL Combine. Elsewhere, we'll skip past the Cardinals. Offensive tackle from Miami, Francis Mayorga. Cool. I like offensive line play. Hard to evaluate at the NFL level. There's always some standout guys, but I don't want to bore you on the radio. David Bailey, edge rusher, Texas Tech, goes to the Titans. They have the Giants taking Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. Another guy that in recent months has fallen down the draft board. I think his measurables at the combine and at his pro day are going to have him rising back up draft boards. That guy's an athletic freak, deep play threat. Kind of reminds me of Tet McMillan and what he did with the Panthers last season. That's kind of my comp for Jordan Tyson. Spencer Fano from Utah goes to the Browns in this mock draft. Arvell Reese, linebacker, edge rusher, Ohio State, goes to the Commanders. Caleb Downs from Ohio State goes to the Saints. Rounding out the top 10, because this is one I do want to talk about. It has local implications, not for me, but I know there's a lot of fans around here. Everyone and their mother in their mock drafts has Jeremiah Love going to the Chiefs. I'm not sure I 100% agree with that one. This mock draft here from Fox Sports has Carnell Tate going at number 9 to the Kansas City Chiefs, which is a pick that I actually like a lot more for the Chiefs. And then finally, rounding out the top 10, Mansour Delane from LSU goes to the Cincinnati Bengals. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go edge rusher, especially because Trey Hendrickson's status is still up in the air. Depends who's still on the board. But I want to go back to the Kansas City Chiefs pick.
If we're going off history, high-level wide receiver, speed, size, yeah, that's who the Chiefs would pick.
I feel like Ohio State wide receivers have just such a high floor in the NFL. The one exception has been Marvin Harrison Jr., but I think that's been more about fit than about him. And he's had some drop issues, but you still see the route running. You still see why he was a top 10 pick.
Oh yeah.
Like, he just needs to get into an offense that has a quarterback that can see over the line of scrimmage, and I think he can do some special things. But Ohio State wide receivers just have such a high floor when they enter the NFL. Look at Emeka Egbuka last year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, stepped in, was a professional right away. Garrett Wilson, another guy that has stepped in, and even in a bad offense, he has come out and produced. We all saw what Jackson Smith and Jigba did last year for the Seattle Seahawks. And then who's the guy, New Orleans, with all the concussion issues?
Olave.
Yeah, Chris Olave, another guy that just stepped in. And is he a Pro Bowler? No, but has he had a super high floor in terms of production? Yes. It feels like if you take a Ohio State wide receiver in the first round, you're guaranteed production.
Yeah.
Are you guaranteed a Pro Bowler? Are you guaranteed an all-pro type player? No, not necessarily, but you're guaranteed a guy who's going to step in, be a professional, and like come in with an NFL type development in place. Like, you're just ready to be an NFL guy. So if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs and I look at the future of Patrick Mahomes, I don't think I know he's restructured his contract, but I don't think where you want to invest is in free agent skill position guys. I think you want to invest in rookies and first contract guys that you can go out there and at a relatively low price get you good production, and hey, they can go sign in free agency elsewhere. I think you want to use your free agency window and your cap space to get your defense and your offensive line in order. And then, hey, you can go get a second or third round running back, Emmett Johnson, that you can go beat to hell for 4 years and then let him go off somewhere else in free agency and go get the next guy in line. I just don't think with what the Chiefs have in place with the quarterback that having a running back like Jeremiah Love is the most important thing. And I think you could really solidify your wide receiver room, which has also been an issue going and getting a guy like Carnell Tate. Or if Jordan Tyson's there, I think Jordan Tyson would be a fantastic pick for the Chiefs as well.
Yeah, I don't think Jeremiah Love sort of fits into what the Chiefs want to do offensively. I think Carnell Tate or a receiver kind of fits into that mold a little bit more. You don't need, like, Jeremiah Love kind of has the builds for me. Like, this is a guy you want to give the ball 20 to 25 times a game. And that's not what the Chiefs are built like. They run a lot of, like RPO action and things like that. Do you think, though, their pick, and this is going to sound weird, could the implications of Rashee Rice have, like, what's going on with him right now, could that have implications on who they pick?
Yes. I also wonder if Patrick Mahomes' health has implications on who they pick.
Yeah.
Are you looking at 2026 with your first round pick, or are you looking beyond? And this is not like, do you go to another quarterback? Now, I'm not saying that. Or are you building towards a future in 2026 where you might have to make do without Patrick Mahomes for half the season? Or are you building a roster? Because I think if you have to deal with potentially not having Mahomes for half a season, Jeremiah Love feels like a great pick. He has so much Alvin Kamara to his game. That's kind of how I see it, where it just feels like a guy that you can go hand the ball off to 20 times. He's going to get production. If his offensive line is good, if his offensive line is bad, doesn't matter. He's going to have some make you miss to him, some top end speed. That is, am I off with that? When I watch Jeremiah Love, I see some Alvin Kamara.
No, not at all.
And if you're going to have to turn and hand the ball off 20 to 25 times while you have a backup quarterback in for half the season, Jeremiah Love feels like the pick. If you want a guy that's going to help you go win a Super Bowl in 2027, 2028, 2029, I'm looking at a Jordan Tyson. I'm looking like a Carnell Tate. That guy that we're in the end of the Kelsey era. You don't really have much else offensively in terms of playmaking weapons besides Rashee Rice, but he's been a head case off the field, and you don't know when and if he's going to be suspended with all the shenanigans that he gets up to.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you just want that consistent, reliable wide receiver threat that Patrick Mahomes can build a rapport with. That is a guy that 4 years down the road you're looking at as I don't want to say the next Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill's unique, but that guy that just feels like a playmaker in the offense that Patrick Mahomes can go get the ball to.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I assume there's probably a lot of Chiefs fans out there that are going to be pining for Jeremiah Love, and I get it. He's a special talent. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of running backs further down the draft board that can fit in with what the Chiefs want to do, understanding they've made Super Bowl runs without a good running back.
Oh, I'm a huge proponent of skill players, especially in the NFL. You don't need, like, it's great to have a Saquon Barkley or it's great to have a Derrick Henry, but you don't need it. You can get somebody in the 7th round, like you said, and if you can find somebody that can, break a couple tackles and get you out in space, like I said, it's great to have those top level guys, but you don't need them.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this, the draft board this year too with the running backs, there's great players on there.
Oh yeah,
I think Emmett Johnson would be a great fit for the Chiefs in the 2nd or 3rd round. I look at Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love's backup at Notre Dame, and I see, hey, that's a solid player as well. Roman Himby, loved what he showed at Indiana. It's a guy that I think probably fits right into the Chiefs offense as well. As a running back, if you're ending up in Kansas City, I mean, the one thing that you can't be is you can't be that type of running back that needs 20 to 25 carries a game that you're just going to turn and hand it to and expect, hey, at some point he's going to bust off a couple big runs.
I mean,
you need that kind of do it all purpose. Hey, he can pass block, he can get out, and he can catch passes, but whenever you want to hand it to him on the inside, he can make something out of nothing, go get you 5-6 yards.
Absolutely. And that's what I said earlier. Jeremiah Love, as great as he is, he doesn't completely fit that mold. So to me, there's avenues where you can go get Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, and then later on in the draft, pick up a running back.
Yep. I mean, Katron Allen's a guy that's probably going to be a 4th or 5th round guy.
And
special. That's a special running back to be picking up that late in the draft. That's just what running backs are. There's not much value in them anymore. Is Jeremiah Love clearly the best running back in the draft? Yes. Jeremiah Love, again, I'll say it again. He's got some Alvin Kamara to him. And Alvin Kamara in his prime was special. That was a fantasy monster because he'd get the ball 25 times a game, 20 on the ground, 5 through the air. He'd pick up 150 yards and score 3 touchdowns for you. Like, that's what I see Jeremiah Love being somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
Is that what the Chiefs need? I don't think so. Could he be good in their offense? Sure. In terms of need, is that what the Chiefs need to get with a top 10 pick this year? Let's be clear. You're not going to have a top 10 pick much with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback.
No.
You got to get it right. And to me, I look at a high floor receiver such as Carnell Tate and I say, yeah, you're not going to miss on that. Carnell Tate's going to be great for you.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. If you're the Chiefs, though, imagine being a year later and having a chance like Jeremiah Smith. But Carnell Tate's still a great receiver from Ohio State. And again, he comes from that mold of Ohio State receivers that have a high floor that I think slot right in and would be great in that Chiefs offense.
Yep.
That'll do it for us here. And it's a long second segment talking some NFL Combine, some NFL Draft. Again, we'll have some Husker results coming your way on a Monday edition of the Morning Hookup whenever Bill Hooks makes his return. Emmett Johnson, Sierra Wright waiting their performances at the NFL Combine with the on-field drills. We'll step aside, and when we return, we'll hit some stories that we missed. How much? Wait, don't tell me how much time we got on the clock here. We have 6 something.
You're close.
5 something.
5:27.
That's close enough.
We're talking about Boston right now, and she's just figuring out what the green monster is. She's like, "What do you mean? There's a big green wall?"
It's what it sounds like.
I'm still mad they took down the Coke bottles off the tower.
Do you have a favorite baseball stadium?
That I've been to?
Just in general in the NBA or in the MLB.
That's tough. I'm trying to think if I want to go off of appeal, like how it looks, or tradition. Because I've been to Wrigley, and that was just incredible with all the history that it has there. Let me look down the line here.
I like Baltimore. I've never been, but I like Baltimore.
Oh, Camden Yards, yeah. Camden Yards is cool. I hate the Brewers.
Yeah, agreed. I don't like Miami.
Nope. I don't like Toronto. You can tell I don't like domes.
Oh, Francisco.
Yeah, that one's nice.
Yeah. I kind of like Seattle.
You can hit a home run into the lake in the back.
Into the bay. It's not a lake. It's the ocean. Rangers. I hate the Rangers. I know it's brand new, but yeah.
What's that one? Globe Life?
Yeah.
Globe Life Field.
The renderings of it looked beautiful, and they screwed it all up.
Tropicana is disgusting. Okay, Citizens Bank Park is nice.
Philly?
In Philly, yeah. I'm more of a traditionalist, so I would say either Wrigley or Fenway, just because of all the history they have.
I was waiting for where's the chorus? Is it coming? I think so. Oh, every time I think it's coming, it's Welcome back into the morning hookup on a Friday. We waited too long for the chorus. We're finishing up here one final time here on a Friday as Bill Hooks off in Los Angeles. He'll be back with us on a Monday. How is it still not the chorus? Here we go. Here we go. Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Oh, okay. One final time here on a Friday as we finish up the show. That was frustrating. Like it just felt like the chorus was going to come and it never came.
It's my fault as a producer. I started the video too early.
I forgive you. I forgive you. One final time here. Let's rock some stories that we missed.
The stories we missed. The morning hookup.
Husker softball. An exciting game last night as they fall in Stillwater. That's not the story of this game, though. There's one play that stands out. Did you see this? Hannah Core? Oh, my goodness. This was potentially a game-saving play. Ended up not being, as Oklahoma State ended up tying the game up in the 7th inning. But it was no outs, bottom of the 6th, Jordy ball in the pitcher's circle. A deep drive to center from Oklahoma State. And Hannah Core, a home run robbery, reaches over the fence and pulls one back. It was a huge, huge play in that game. Nebraska ends up falling in 10 innings to Oklahoma State. But don't let the loss distract you from one of the best catches you will see in all of college softball this year. So that's what I have for you. If you haven't checked that one out, I don't know if it's on SportsCenter Top 10. It should be. You can also check this out on Twitter. The Husker softball team posted it up. The call left a lot to be desired. It's probably an Oklahoma State homer that was like calling as if it was going to be a home run. And then Hannah Core catches it. And he goes, and that one is caught.
Oh,
Hannah Core. But that was just one of the best catches that you will see in all of softball this year. So I had to quickly make light of that one. Another one. Do you have one?
No, go ahead.
Nebraska flag football women's side. They have hired a head coach.
All right.
Liz Sowers. Liz Sowers and her sister as well will be heading up the Husker women's flag football program. Sowers' previous experience with the San Francisco 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs, most recently built an NAIA powerhouse in women's flag football. She now makes her way to Nebraska, and she'll be leading the Nebraska women's flag football program. That is the definition of a slam dunk hire.
Wow. Powerhouse NAIA flag football program.
Multiple consecutive national championships.
That's awesome.
So Nebraska has their head coach leading up the program. This is an aside. I think you should just have the women's team playing regular tackle football. I've said this before on the radio. If women can fight in MMA, if they can play hockey normally, if they can play basketball normally, why can't they play tackle football?
There are leagues for women's tackle football.
Yeah. Well, so why can't you just have tackle football at Nebraska? Maybe just because the other teams aren't competing in tackle football, but might as well be a trailblazer. At the end of the day, I think it's great to have more opportunities for women in sports, especially playing the game of football. But this is maybe my wokest take. If women can do all those other sports, why can't they play tackle football? That's an aside. Nebraska slam dunk hire on the flag football side of things.
Con Knipple of the Hornets
let's see this.
Set the rookie three-point record with his 207th three-pointer of the season already, and they have only played 59 games. So he absolutely shattered the record, as in the NBA they play 82 games. And last night he made 5 threes in the first half and then broke the record in the third quarter. He finished with 28 with 8 threes on 12 attempts. Just absolutely crazy numbers from a rookie. And we knew coming out of college that Con Knipple would be special, but I don't think anybody thought he would be this good.
No, because it's not just the 3-point shooting.
He's a great player.
Yeah, just all around doing it all for the Hornets. Looks like a long-time potential NBA All-Star. I'm trying to think of the right comp here, because it's like he's got the 3-point shooting of Kyle Korver, but he's got the ball handling and driving ability of,
I don't know.
I don't want
all-around player.
I'm trying to avoid just saying white basketball players. That's disrespectful. In terms of rookie of the year odds, he sits in second, almost even with Cooper Flagg. So it seems like it's going to come down to Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg for NBA rookie of the year, but Knipple's having a great season. That'll do it for us here on a Friday. Make sure to check out the Average Joe Sports Show this afternoon at 4 to 6. Husker basketball this weekend, and Bill Hooks makes his return from LA on a Monday. We'll talk to you at 9.